We can't ask the COSCA group anything?
They're here.
Well, I mean, I was just going to say that we hired them call. Can you tell us what our options are?
Sure.
Your options appear to be 3 or 4. 1, review the previous candidates, you and the committee interview, and determine if you wish to call any of them back. I wish that I could say Russell would be an alternative, but I don't think he would. So I think we need to say that door is closed and move on. Why? He is not conveying why, so it's very difficult for us to talk about why because we don't know why. The answer is he withdrew with no explanation.
Dr. COSCA?
Yes.
Did he convey any apprehension prior to withdrawing to you?
I don't wish to talk about Russell, and he asked me not to. He specifically said if I am questioned about him, he wished that I would not answer any questions. I think as he did with you as well when you visited him yesterday. He does not wish to be part of any forum in which there is finger pointing.
What are the other options you were going to outline?
I have 1. Second is Dr. Brand. Third is we do an expedited search. By that it means that we go out and recruit specific people without advertising, and we bring them to you for interview.
Yep.
And the fourth is we do the complete search again without the community input, but do all the advertising again.
Fire the group.
All the process. Down the community portion, you know what your community said, you wrote it up, and I believe that we can use that same information in new brochures that go out to advertise that position. We are committed to do that for you at no additional cost for us. The only thing we ask is our expenses. So there's no, if this goes another day, Steve and I receive not another penny personally.
Could you clarify expenses?
Hmm?
Could you clarify expenses?
Expenses would be mailing, would be travel, and advertising. Pardon me? No hourly, no pay to us, period.
What about timing? The police search all over the place. What about the timing? What the hell is the time? Because I remember there was a limited opportunity.
Well, the window of opportunity was when we were doing the search. And that's why, at least from my perspective, we brought to you 6 well-qualified candidates that we thoroughly vetted. And one of them, frankly, heard, based on their experience, would make fine superintendents, whether that's here or somewhere else. But I think, when we started the process, we thought that was a good time to start it. A lot of your superintendent candidates have already been selected in other districts. We were very pleased, even though there was a little bit of a delay towards the end of this process. And the 6 people we recommended to you were still viable candidates here. All 6 of them were very interested in the process. So it's a long way of saying we have commenced full searches, not second searches, but full searches in June, July, August, have received some good candidates. The pool, though, is certainly not a real large pool at this time, or at the time you were initiating this.
When we talk about number one, we need to the candidates, and we come back and let us know out of the 6 on one, how many are still looking,
Are still interested.
are still interested, so we have to estimate.
Well, we'd like to, if we did take that as an option, I think what we'd like to hear from you, and that would be a legitimate closed session item, is which of those candidates you're interested in. We're not going to talk about candidates soon.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying that first we have to figure out who's, like, I remember, there's quite a few of them looking for other jobs.
And some will not choose to be a candidate anymore. Or they are.
Vice President Nicholson.
Denise, I did ask them to ask who's one candidate.
Speak up. We can't hear you.
These microphones are really crummy. I did ask the COSCA group about one of the candidates, and they contacted that candidate. I'm telling this to them. And we will be revealed in closed session.
You asked me on Saturday, and I had an answer on Saturday.
I know. You can't get it to well.
Right.
I have a question for you. How do we make sure this doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
How do you want?
Make sure that this does not happen again.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an answer to that question.
It never happened before.
So we could very well go through the process again and have the bottom fall out from under us again.
I'm not real good at crystal ball. I know that we brought you what you believe to be very good candidates. Your committee interviewed them. They did a great job. You selected one. You fell out.
I'm not asking you to crystal ball. I'm asking you to look back at the process and tell me what was wrong with it so that we can ensure it doesn't happen again. You were the one most in communication with Mr. Lee Sung, with the board, with all the players. So you would be best situated to let me know how to do that. Let all of us know how to do that.
I am not going to get involved in a finger pointing or blame exercise in this board meeting. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not asking you to
Talking
do
about
that, and it's not
process.
Andrew. I'm the board president.
Mr. Allen, I am not going to respond to a question that asks me to conjecture about what people do or why they did it. I just don't know those answers.
COSCA, I'm asking you, how can we prevent things like leaks from undermining the process? Making sure that the integrity of the candidates is respected as far as it relates to confidentiality. We had certain problems, I'm sure you'll agree with this process.
Absolutely.
Let me interject something that I think would be,
Go on.
To shorten that process between the time a board makes a decision and makes the visit and negotiates a contract, should be a very compact period of time. To not allow rumors to spread, to not allow people to talk. A lot of people talk who don't know anything. And to make that as a short period of time to get the job done. And that's what we normally do. It's a very compact period of time. A couple days after the board makes a selection, a visit is made, a contract is agreed to, and the person is announced. That's one way of avoiding this one.
Vice President Nicholson.
I spend a lot of time on the road, so I listen to a lot of traffic. Because I listen to a lot of traffic, I hear a lot of news. And about 5:15 this morning, I heard Senator John McCain say, whenever there's a leak, look at who benefits, and you can usually find out who did the leaking. And I thought that was very
Board members in Chaka.
So are you recommending for next, if we decide to do the next search or whatever course we take, that we don't let it drag out, what was it, 2 or 3 weeks, we don't announce it until we have a contract in hand?
Yeah, absolutely. Is the board comes together, we recommend that we come together and be a 5-0 vote. That we want to take the next step, which is to go make a community
Yeah,
visit.
let it fight out.
And if you want to make that community visit, it's pending that visit. And that all board members make that visit. And that very, very shortly, within hours, you begin, if that visit is successful, the contract negotiations. And then once that is done, you make your announcement. But it can be done in a very short period of time. We
Is it
spent,
short? Is it a week?
yeah,
A week?
Yeah, it can be
All
done
that
in a
has to
week.
take place in 1 week.
it can. It normally does.
Clerk Crew?
We don't make the announcement of who it is until we've got the contract and stuff.
That's right.
Absolutely.
How does
Well, we have
that
to
work?
take the vote.
Have to take a
Because, yeah,
vote.
because if we don't announce, does that not violate something? If we took a vote in closed session, we gotta report out the vote.
You make an agreement in closed session, you want to take the next step and go make a visit of this candidate.
Potential candidate.
Now, you have to post that announcement and where you're going to be. Normally, everybody knows at that time.
Seems like a
But,
voter decision by another name, though.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We've had legal counsel, and we've done a lot of searches, successful searches, that wind up having a superintendent in place in a relatively short period of time, and it works. And we have verified the lawfulness of that kind of action with legal counsel in a variety of districts. You asked what we would recommend, and I think that's one thing that might avoid the kind of issue that happened here.
Clerk Crew?
You mentioned that we should probably shorten the length of stuff. We made the decision now 3 weeks ago. What took so long to get the visit and starting the contract?
I can speak to that. There was a difficulty of getting the 5 of us in one place at one time. It wasn't the community visit. So I think what we'd have to do going forward, if we were gonna expedite the process, is schedule everything well in advance, not between, if we could before.
Well, actually, we have a timetable that we brought to you early on, a list of dates. And we also said at that time, looking down the road 4 months from now, some things may have to change, obviously. But that's the effort to say, when we get towards the end of this process, it really needs to be tightened up so that you can make a final decision and make that announcement.
The dilemma that I see, if you choose the last two options, is that Dr. Graham will be gone, I believe, approximately July 1, as an interim, and that you will need someone to fill in for that position while a short or a regular search is going on. And your options are limited, since the law now precludes people from serving as an interim except for a very small, a limit set by SGRS. And so it would mean that perhaps your inside people would have to do that part of that job or share that job for that term.
Vice President Eccleston?
How long?
Pardon me?
How long is that timetable for the interim?
We'd have to put it together for you for an expedited search, but I'm guessing 2 to 3 months.
So we have 2 to 3 months.
You've given us some options. We need to consider them. Is there anything more that you think we should be aware of?
No, I think there are some very appropriate things to talk about in closed session. I hope we have a closed session at the end of this public meeting and back in the open session.
Well, the board needs to have a discussion. You've given us the options. Thank you. So,